evening. Here is the Oktoberfest that didn't happen. So here's me pretzels, homemade, and me beer, German. Tonight we're going to have a Oktoberfest meal. We're going to have bratwurst, which you can actually check out that they're homemade on a different set of videos, just as these were earlier. So we're going to have bratwurst. Now normally you might have me say sauerkraut. Wife won't eat sauerkraut. Apparently she does the shopping and she said Tesco's didn't have any. I said, have they got pickled cabbage? Oh no, I've got nothing like that. Now I did think about making my own sauerkraut. It takes about 2 weeks. You've got to ferment it and I just thought, to be honest, since I'm the only one eating it, if I'm allowed to, and she don't like me eating it, she said it stinks, I thought I wouldn't bother. So instead, we're going to have, now I probably can't say this right, Reibekuchen, I think, or something like that. They're basically German potato cakes. So, we're going to make some German potato cakes. So I can't remember to say that other bit. I should be talking with my mouth full. What's that? Spartan? No, not Spartan, but anyway. That's the beer, German beer. Just clean my throat. Cleanse my palate. Compulsory, got to cleanse my palate. So, what we're going to need obviously this are some potatoes. I've got a couple of large baked potatoes. A smallish onion, that's the only onion I had. Well, I've got small, but they're all that size. And we're going to need some olive oil to fry them in. Some egg. We may need some plain flour if it comes out a bit runny. We'll just add a little bit of flour just to thicken it up a bit. There'll be a little bit of salt in it. And that's essentially all it is. So what we will do is we'll make them, and then when we get ready to cook them, we'll cook off some bratwurst first, and then we'll fry off the Reibekuchen. Don't sound right, does it? The potato cakes, and that will be our meal for tonight. So let me just clear a little bit of area. Actually, what I might do is while you're there, I might peel the potatoes and just trim the onion, and then I'll come back to you when we're going to do the next bit. Right, so our first job is we're going to grate the potato. Okay, now you could sort of cut it up on like a mandolin into julienne strips if you wanted, but we're just going to grate this. Now we're going to get a lot of moisture, we're going to get rid of that. Okay, so we don't worry about that. So I'm going to grate up 2 potatoes for now. That should be enough, more than enough, 2 of us. Okay, I bet much what I'm doing, I'll take my fingers off. So it's just a matter of first off grating up the potato. Okay, fine, isn't it? You better have my fingertip. Now, I posed a little question. If you watch my bratwurst videos, I did post a little quiz for you. Now, because it's Oktoberfest, which is German, okay, even though we actually, despite the fact, I don't know, it's a bit taller for it. Despite the fact the actual official Munich, the Oktoberfest, which usually has up to 6 million visitors, okay, was cancelled because of COVID. Apparently our local park, which had always planned one, it went ahead. I don't know if anybody went. Anyway, I'm just going to carry on grating them, and then when I'm chopping the onion, I might tell you a little bit more about Oktoberfest. Oh no, I was saying about quiz, wasn't I? Right, these are all German lagers. I guarantee you they're all German lagers. Who can spot the error? Alright, that's potato, grated. It's a bit moist. That, say moist, can't say too much because it gives my job away. But let's just say that used to trigger a response. Totally, no need for it, but it used to trigger a response if I ever said something was moist. Anyway, what we're going to do is we want to get rid of that moisture. So I'll take a handful, and she's probably easy with 2 hands, and I'll squeeze it. So we grab that potato and we squeeze it. Now you could do this, wrapped in a damp tea or in a tea towel and then squeeze it that way. It's just easy to do that. And then we put the drying out, if you like, potato into that bowl, because we're going to mix this with the onion and the egg. Alright, so when I've done this, we're going to then, well, we say mince the onion, I might as well grate the onion. Okay, so I'm just going to finish off that last bit of potato. Get off of my glass, that's my beer. And getting every bloody way now. And then I'll show you when we put the onion in. So there's my squeezed out potato. So what we're going to do now is we're now going to grate the onion. Okay. Now this is a little bit trickier because of course the onion tends to fall apart in its layers, but we'll see how we do. We can always chop the last bits with a knife. And it'll probably make it cry. Looking at me, that probably makes you cry. So, for that amount of potato, we're going to put 1 onion in there. It's probably a little bit too much onion, but who cares? Okay, so just going to grate that half, and then grate this half, and we will then mix that in with the potato. Okay. Now, starting to get my eyes. I'm running out of beer. No, I'm not. I've got loads of beer. I forgot the wife had bought me. Get my eyes. I forgot the wife had bought me some German beer when she suggested this idea. This is all her idea. This. So I bought a shed load of beer, and then she said to me, "Don't forget you bought that beer." Oh dear, I forgot. Anyway, actually, before I take my fingernails off, or the tips of my fingers, I was saying to you, I'll tell you a little bit more about Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest started in 1810. It was the Crown Prince Ludwig, who later became the King Ludwig I. And he was getting married. Well, he actually did get married. Sting my eyes, sting my eyes. Sorry, I saw Green Mile last night. Stinging my eyes, stinging my eyes. And anyway, Ludwig married Princess Theresa of Saxe-Hilsen-Gausen or something. Okay. Now, he decided, as part of his celebrations, that all the citizens of Munich would be invited to attend festivities on the fields in the front of the city gates. Hang on. Cheers, Prince Ludwig, Crown Prince Ludwig. And it involved various events and everything like that. And food, drink and games. Although the food and drink were more just part of your normal sort of festivities. Not like the extent of the food and the drink is now of Oktoberfest. So this was also when they started doing horse racing. Now, they actually got 40,000 people watching. You know, probably what I want to eat later. Now, gradually as the years went by, they started adding other things in. They decided to make it an agricultural event as well. So that was incorporated into it. Just put the onion in it. So agriculture was incorporated, and this went on year. We had the horse races. Just mixing all this together. We'll get in there. Okay, and it sort of became just an annual event, really. There was a couple of times when it was put on a hold. So, for instance, during the Napoleonic Wars. In total, it's actually been cancelled, if you like, 25 times. Now, I'm not sure if that's 25 times including this year, or whether it was 25 times before this year. But the COVID pandemic meant that it got cancelled again this year. Okay, so it's an annual event, and to begin with, it was really just about horse racing, going and playing skittles, drinking a bit of beer, but really it was all about the events rather than the drinking. So I'm just going to make sure this is all mixed in, and see if I can do something about the fact that my eyes are like stinging like a bug. Great. Oh, might need more beer. So I've got the potato and onion mixed. So now we're going to add a bit of salt, okay, freshly ground, and then we're going to add 1 egg. I might chuck another one in, we'll see how that one goes. Okay, what we don't want is for this to be too runny. Like I say, if it turns out it is a bit runny, with the eggs there just help bind it, but if it turns out it's a bit too runny, we will just add a couple of teaspoons or tablespoons of flour, a little bit at a time, just to make sure it's not too runny. Okay, but essentially, flour aside, that is your mixture, which we will in a bit fry off. Now, I'm not going to do that just yet, because we're going to use, we're going to have these as an accompaniment to some bratwurst. Okay, some traditional German sausage, and to be honest, beer and bratwurst is pretty much standard practice for Oktoberfest. So we were talking about Oktoberfest, just to finish off. Towards the end of the 19th century, they decided, instead of using all these skittle halls and billiard halls and everything else, all these other gaming halls, for the beer tents, which is what it sort of became, these individual booths was where you had got your beer, they decided, well, let's just clear it all and we'll have one big beer hall, or several big beer halls. And that's why now Oktoberfest is mainly these great big beer halls where you just drink beer and eat bratwurst. Oh dear. I better have another German lager. Hint there for you. Right, so I've got a frying pan on the oven, on the hob. I'll put some olive oil in there, so basically got a layer all over the bottom. I don't know how deep that is, but we're going to fry the potato pancakes off in that. And now I'm cooking over the back here, you can't see, I'm frying up some bratwurst. Now I know quite often bratwurst are boiled, I prefer mine fried. Okay, so we're frying them. So hence I'm just waiting for them to cook through. Might just turn the heat up a little bit. And then once they're almost there, okay, now there was actually, I bought these collagen case on Amazon, and there was a few negative reports about, oh, they're no good, they're shit, they break, they've split, all the my sausages split. To be honest, I've had 2 split. Not tonight. When we've used them, there's only been 2 that sort of split. I'm sorry, I don't drink there. I'm trying a new German lager. There's only 2 that sort of split, and to be honest, that's no different to any normal sausages. Now, one good thing about these sausages is that you know exactly what's in them because you put it in there, and because it was quite lean, the pork. Some people say shove it, you know, a lot of, you want to, you know, the right ratio of meat to fat, but because we haven't put an awful lot of fat in there, they're nice and lean, so a bit more healthy. Actually, I'm not sure that one has split, actually, now look at it. No, actually, no. Only one split. Out of how many did we cook? But at least a dozen we've cooked, made and cooked off. So, I don't know what they were talking about. It's quite possible they didn't remember to prick them to get the air out, because that will make them burst. Okay, and like I say, really, you do need to let them sort of rest at least sort of 24 hours or so or more. Okay, you could obviously smoke them, and actually we have got a smoker, never used it, and I did point out to my beloved, because she's quite into sausage baking, likes getting her hand on the sausage. Why don't we make some, and we'll try and make some like chorizo or something like that, and we'll, I don't know if I said that right, by the way, chorizo, yeah. But we could make some smoked sausages. But anyway, the bratwurst are cooking up, so the oil's come up to temperature, and so I've divided this roughly. There's a lot of moisture coming out of them onions, okay, so I'm going to try to avoid that. I'm dividing it into four. We're going to make 4 potato pancakes, okay, so 2 each, and I think possibly, no, not quite up to temperature yet, so when that's up to temperature we'll cook them off. The oil's up to temperature, so what I'm going to do is, given how wet this is becoming here, because really I should have done this a bit quicker, okay, I'm going to spoon that out, drop it in there, okay, and then just flatten it out. So I'm going to do the same for each of these, okay, and scoop it up, try not to get too much moisture in there, in we go, flatten it out, and so on. Okay. You can hear that sizzling away. So we basically cook them so they're nice and brown and crispy on one side, and then we will flip them. Right. So almost there for eating. Oh, almost there. Actually, earlier I did some pretzel videos, although in this case I've chucked them all together and just do the one. But if you'd actually been watching individuals, at the start of every one almost, without fail, I started with so. I'm just going to let these cook. I'm just going to turn my bratwurst. Okay, they're looking good. We've already tried this recipe and really enjoyed it. That's why I've done the same thing again. So anyway, when we're getting a bit close to cooking these pancakes, I'll let you see what happens. Right, I think these might be just about ready to flip. Probably falls bloody apart now. Right, so just carefully flip that one over. Same with this one. There we go. Not sure these two are quite there yet, but we'll find out in a second. There we go, not quite. So I might have to flip them again. Okay, so they're frying off nicely. I've got myself some kitchen towel ready there, so when we finish cooking them, we'll whip them out onto the kitchen towel. Sorry. Tongue off. Too many wrinkles. We'll put them on the kitchen towel just to sort of get some of the oil off. Really went to get me beer there and suddenly realised we weren't there. Back here. Oh dear, look, it's getting low again. My German lager is getting low. No one's spotted yellow yet. And I'm very disappointed because I know there are one or two maestros, if you like, of beer watching, because they've already commented, because these have been going up on Facebook. Okay, and I'm disappointed. I have to say I'm disappointed in you. Either that or you just got bored and you went on and watched Britain's Got Talent or some other shite that's on telly at the moment. Sister tried to tell me about Britain's Got Talent and I said, look, I've no idea what you're talking about. Don't watch it. When you've got talent like this, why do you need to watch that? Hey? Okay. We're just about there. So, let's turn the heat off on the bratwurst. Turn it off on the potato cakes. So we're just going to, like I say, lift them off. Put them on a bit of kitchen towel. Just to absorb some of that oil. This is the bugger that broke up. Okay, so let me just move that out of the way. Let's get our bratwurst. Now, like I said, we've cooked our bratwurst off. Okay, simply because we prefer it that way rather than boiled. Okay, and now just going to add a couple of the potato cakes. And there we have our Oktoberfest bratwurst, homemade entirely. Well, bought a pig and a beef and a cow from Tesco's and the veg from Tesco's. But other than that, it's homemade bratwurst and Reibekuchen German Potato pancakes. So we're going to now go and enjoy it with the beer. And still no one has spotted the error.